I know the last couple of weeks we have been talking about some pretty dense subject matter, some pretty heavy subject matter. And today I wanted to lighten things up a little bit and talk to you about 10 wellness trends and fads that are going on in the TikTok, Instagram space at the moment. I wanted to give my hot takes on them. As a certified holistic health coach and former personal trainer for over 10 years in the industry, I have some thoughts about some of these trends that are going on, and hopefully they will help you make a more informed decision if you do decide to try some of them.
You're listening to The Holistic Ritual, a podcast for holistic health-minded humans seeking mind, body, spirit well-being. Hosted by Kamela Celeste, IIN holistic health coach and former personal trainer, with over a decade of experience helping humans become the best versions of themselves, both mentally and physically. Here, you'll discover meditations, affirmation readings, thought-provoking insights, and all things related to holistic health and healing. We blend Eastern and Western rituals, practices, and research to guide you on your wellness journey. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the Holistic Ritual. I am your host, Kamela Celeste. If you are just joining us today for the first time, welcome to the show. And if you are a former listener, welcome back. I'm very happy to have you here. I wanted to open up the show with a little midday mindfulness. It is just a few minutes to step away from your day and to give your body a little bit of love, to stretch out and roll out a couple things. No matter if you are sitting or standing or what you are doing throughout your day, as long as you are not doing something like operating heavy machinery or anything like that, you can probably do this no matter where you are. So take these first few minutes to honor yourself and get back to yourself. And let's get into the midday mindfulness. Join me for midday mindfulness. 1 minute away from your desk, your projects, from an overactive mind. Find a comfortable place, kneeling or standing, and begin focusing on your breath. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Taking those arms up, reaching to either side, looking up through the arms. And then begin taking nice big circles to either side, waking up your spine, reaching as tall as you can, opening those arms nice and wide, pressing your chest to the ceiling. And taking some thoracic rotations, rolling out your neck to the left, to the right, pressing the palms to the backs of the hips and your chest forward, taking a nice big breath, grab some water and hydrate. I hope you enjoyed that little refresh and that your mind is centered and your body is a little bit more centered. Hopefully today things go pretty quickly. 10 wellness trends of 2024. There are so many fads and trends and diets and different methods for going about your health and well-being. With all of the noise, all of the clutter out there, what actually has science behind it? What is going to be beneficial to you? And how can you potentially incorporate some of these trends into a sustainable long-term practice, potentially? I'm going to be answering all these things today and more. And the first trend that I want to talk to you about is 75 hard. This has blown up all over social media, Instagram, TikTok, and I have so many thoughts on this. So let me just read off my notes for a second about what exactly 75 hard is. I have not personally done 75 hard, but I have heard many things about it, and I know many people who have done it. And once they complete it, they feel amazing. But let's just read exactly what it is. So, 75 Hard is a rigorous 75-day challenge requiring participants to complete 2 45-minute workouts a day, one of which must be outdoors, adhere to a diet with absolutely no cheats at all, drink a gallon of water a day, read 10 pages of a self-help book a day, and take daily progress photos. So it's marketed as a mental toughness program rather than just a fitness routine, which I think is really interesting. And this goes on for 75 days as it's 75 hard. So it is a very intense way of going about your health and wellness. I really do love the reading 10 pages of a self-help book every day. That I think is something that could be definitely beneficial to self-improvement and growth. The 2 workouts a day, and one of them has to be outside, depending on the time of the year, how cold it gets, how hot it gets, that could potentially be a little bit questionable just, with climate change and how erratic the weather is being. And there also isn't a lot of room for there's not room for rest days. You're on for 75 days, which is a bit too intense for my liking. Coming from a holistic background, I'm sure probably you're not going to be shocked by this answer. Especially if you are a beginner, I would not recommend doing this method to start your health and wellness journey. As we are in October now, we have the new year coming up. This would not be something that I would recommend you to do if you are a very, very newbie to wanting to start a fitness and health regimen, especially if this is the only thing you are going to attempt. It also, brings up the question about sustainability and longevity. Is this something that you can actually do for 75 days? And what are the after effects? There's a lot of room for injury if you are demanding working out twice a day for 75 days. Your body needs rest days. It needs recovery days. And the lack of room for cheat days, while it is, only for the 75 days, this can really be a slippery slope for some of those eating patterns that don't allow for more intuitive eating, for balance, for honoring your body and what it might need, and your soul. Like sometimes, as I said before, a piece of pizza is good for your soul. And if you are denying yourself of something like that for 75 days, it can just be not beneficial for your mental well-being. So especially if you are someone who struggles with mental well-being, 75 hard probably isn't the thing that I would recommend for you to do. Now, there is its counterpart, which is 75 soft. And then let's just read very quickly what that is. So 75 soft offers a more manageable version, focusing on 1 45-minute workout per day, eating healthier without strict dieting, 3 liters of water intake, reading 10 pages of any book, and allowing occasional social drinking. It emphasizes sustainable habits, and it's more suited for long-term success for those who prefer a balanced approach to fitness and mental growth. Again, 75 soft is a lot more manageable for not novice or beginner individuals out there who are just starting a health and wellness program. I would not recommend either of these two just for how strict it is. And while it does say that it allows for occasional drinking and, not focusing on strict dieting, both of these methods have their cons of not allowing for rest. So rest is so important and it's so crucial to take rest days to let your body recover, to let your muscles recover. And not only that, but to let your brain recover. Not every day, especially for women, are we going to have the energy for 75 days with all the different stages of our hormones and getting our cycles. Our energy levels, they're not sustained throughout 75 days. So something to keep in mind if you are a woman looking into this. However, for men, the 75 soft version might be a better version. I didn't read too much into what the type of exercise 75 soft entails, but doing one 45-minute workout a day, that could be as simple as walking or stretching or something that's a little bit less intense than the 75 hard of 2 45-minute rigorous workouts a day. That's a lot, even for me. And coming from like bodybuilding backgrounds, going to the gym twice a day, lifting in the morning or doing cardio in the morning, and then going back to either do whatever I didn't do in the morning. That was not sustainable long term for myself personally. And there are those individuals out there who need that type of intensity. They need that, hardcore type of approach to health and wellness, which if you found yourself here taking a more holistic and balanced approach to your health and well-being, you likely aren't one of those people. I'm not one of those people either. I did dabble in those methods in a former life, but realizing that it wasn't sustainable, and now taking into accountability that we are all bio-individual beings. I'll probably say this like 20,000 times throughout this episode, but we really are. We are bio-individual, and what is one person's pleasure is another person's poison. What food works for someone else is going to give someone else inflammation. Like, there is no one right thing. So definitely taking everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt, and then consulting your medical provider, your doctor, your naturopath before you do anything too crazy is going to make sure that you are doing the best thing for yourself. The next method I want to talk about is the 30-30-30 method. I have already spoken about this on TikTok. I am a huge fan of it, but for those of you who are unfamiliar with 30-30-30, this method encourages a structured start to your day by focusing on protein intake and exercise. It involves eating 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up, followed by 30 minutes of steady state cardio. So that could be like walking or light jogging. I have PCOS, and this method has done so much for my body and myself. I have already seen a tremendous progress from implementing this, and it sounds like it might be a bit challenging to do, especially I was one of those people who was of the mind that when you wake up, I'm not usually hungry and I don't want to eat anything, or I didn't want to eat anything in the past. But now when I wake up, I actually am craving food. And that is one of the first things that I do every day. And let me know if you're on Spotify or YouTube or somewhere in the comments, or if you see this on TikTok, if you would like me to do some examples of what a meal of 30 grams of protein entails. That, for me, I'm one of those people, I don't know if any of y'all have looked into human design. I might lose some of you here, but if you have looked into human design, you have a specific taste profile, and mine is one where I benefit from eating the same foods every single day. I don't need a lot of variety, and my body knows exactly what to do with those foods. So I pretty much eat the same thing every single day. However, when the seasons change, I will slightly switch things up. So for example, if I'm going to have a smoothie in the morning over summertime to counter the weather, in the wintertime, it might be more savory breakfasts and a savory meal. That's a hot meal versus putting coldness into my body when the temperature outside is already cold. So balancing them out, yin and yang, for the environment outside and what your body is needing to counter that. So something else that comes with PCOS, and which is a science-backed benefit to this method, is blood sugar balance. So the protein aims to stabilize your blood sugar. It helps promote muscle synthesis, and it helps you curb those cravings during the day. If you are someone who experiences really intense cravings, this method could definitely be beneficial for you. Eating that much protein, 30 grams of protein, at the start of your day can also be so helpful for helping keep your hunger in check and controlling your metabolism. On exercise, steady state cardio, walking has been over time proven to be one of the best methods to help control your weight. If weight loss is something that you are looking to achieve with your health and wellness goals. And really, this just is a way to get those 30 minutes of exercise in to start your day. It can help you feel more energized. Oftentimes, I'll wake up, I'll eat breakfast within 30 minutes of waking up, and then I'll come upstairs and I will walk on my walking pad at my desk while I get my workday started. This could also just be taking a 30-minute walk outside in the morning before you go about your day or go to work or something like that. And this method is really about habit building and creating that routine around starting your day off with loading up on your protein and helping your metabolism to get going, and also to start your day on an exercise win by doing your 30 minutes of walking in the morning. Get that checked off your list. The next trend that I have seen a really big movement on TikTok and Instagram is the sober curious movement. I kind of absolutely love this trend. We know that the effects of alcohol are not great on our health, especially with more research that has come out over time. What exactly are those effects, and why are people, especially Gen Z and millennials like ourselves, why are we so interested or so curious about drinking less? That really rallies behind encouraging people to reevaluate their relationship with alcohol, promoting mindful drinking or periods of abstinence without necessarily committing to like a lifelong sobriety. And then there is lots of research that is no surprise probably. It shows that reducing or eliminating alcohol improves mental clarity, sleep quality, immune function, and reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease and cancer. And then we also know that alcohol, even in moderate amounts, can impair your cognitive performance and your memory and decision making and all of those kinds of things. And then what has been revealed in recent research is that it can also shrink your brain volume, which is seemingly concerning. But they've also done studies that have shown when you reduce your alcohol intake or you kind of abstain from it, you can reverse those effects, which is promising news, I think. In the culture of happy hours and holiday parties and kind of our society always gathering around alcohol, being more mindful about why am I consuming alcohol? Why do I reach for alcohol? Is there a certain feeling or emotion or situation where I immediately, without even thinking about it, reach for alcohol? I know for me, my number one thing has always been stress. I'm a stressful, anxious girly. I always have been, probably always will be, especially with anxiety and ADHD. That was one of my ways to kind of chill myself out, but the effects of that the next day, if I kind of overdid it, are not great. And I don't like feeling hungover. I don't like feeling sluggish and then kind of almost wasting the day the next day because I am so tired or I'm so just zapped from drinking that I don't want to do anything else. I think the sober curious movement is just amazing, and something that I have also recently, very, very recently, started getting into is liquid gardening. For any of you who know what that is, if you don't, you have TikTok, Instagram, look it up. I'm in a state where liquid gardening is legal. Really, the first time that I tried it, I felt just very giggly and happy, and I had no hangover afterwards. And I was still able to achieve the effect of just kind of, chilling the hell out, which is hard for me to do sometimes. And I need that little extra help from herbs or supplements or something like that. So The Sober Curious movement gets my stamp of approval. Really reevaluating your relationship with alcohol can be really beneficial in the long run. The next one I've seen as a trend all over the place. I mean, it is part of people's everyday routine in those like daily routine videos, are the greens powder drinks. Now, there is some evidence to show they can help lower blood pressure when used over time. They could potentially support immune function and fill dietary gaps. However, they lack a full nutrient profile, they lack fiber, and the health benefits provided by actual real fruits and vegetables. So while they can be beneficial for people with busy lifestyles, I think it's really important here to focus on getting that nutrition from actual real whole food sources versus these greens powders being your only go-to as a source for getting some of those micronutrients in. And some days, I'm a really busy person too. I have so many things going on, so many activities. And sometimes something really quick and easy, like adding a greens powder to a smoothie or to a glass of water and blending it up and drinking it to ensure that you are hitting some of those micronutrient goals for the day. Nothing wrong with that. The things that I would really watch out for and to look for are if they are third-party tested, if they have any type of transparency to their dosing of what all is in them. I personally don't take a green supplement at the moment. I do take just a spirulina capsule, and that is pretty much the only greens thing that I do. I do try to get most of my greens micronutrient nutrition from whole food sources. And then the last thing I'll say about this is just consult your healthcare provider. If this is something that you think that you absolutely need to incorporate into your routine, talk to them first and see what they say and if it is a good fit for you. Next, let's talk about hot girl walks. I am a sucker for a hot girl walk. I love turning on a podcast, calling a friend or my mom or my sister or somebody who I haven't spoken to in a while, going on a walk, enjoying the nature, enjoying the sunlight, enjoying the elements, and then just having very wholesome and connecting and deep conversations with people. Those two hand in hand together, like they really could just turn my whole entire day around. And there is actually beneficial research on walking in nature. So let's just read. It aligns with the idea that regular low impact aerobic exercise can boost your mood. It releases endorphins. It can improve blood flow, which benefits your mental health. And then walking outdoors encourages time in nature, which has been linked to decreased stress and enhanced well-being. Psychologically, these walks allow participants to shift away from autopilot thinking and focus on personal goals and values. So, and I would echo that, and taking time away from your screen. If I am going to listen to a podcast or something, I make sure that my phone is put away in my little belt bag or my pocket, and I am really not utilizing or accessing my device as little as possible during this time so that I can make the most of it. And it has significantly benefited me and my mental health, as well as getting vitamin D and sunshine. And even if it is an overcast day, you can still get in your daily dose of vitamin D most places in the United States or around the world. And there is this awesome app that I've shared before, but I'll actually put it on the screen somewhere here. It's called D-Minder, and you can actually check how much vitamin D that you are getting when you are outside. If that is something that is important for you to track, vitamin D plays a crucial role in mental health, and it is actually a hormone. D-Minder, such an awesome app. And hot girl walks, stamp of approval. Love them. The next one I have seen so many times. I've been so skeptical of it, and I just cannot get behind it. And here's why. I'm going to tell you why. Number 7 is parasite cleanses. Let's just read some of the science over here. The broad use of parasite cleanses without proper diagnosis, if you even have a parasite, can be super harmful because some of these herbs that are part of these cleanses, they can, while they are natural, poison is natural. There are poisonous plants out there that are natural. So not everything that is natural is good for your health, but in high doses or in a wrong amount of dosing by just doing research from someone that you have seen on the internet, it can be really dangerous. So I just advise, if you think that you have a parasite, please go to your doctor first. Please consult with them and get some testing done. Make sure that if you are convinced that you have something as severe as a parasite going on, definitely go to your doctor. Also, if you're taking other medications and you are trying to go down the parasite cleanse route, I would 1000% talk to your doctor or a healthcare provider first because some of these herbs, while they are natural, they can have interactions with medications that you are taking. So parasite cleanse, not convinced, talk to your doctor, please, before deciding to do one. Number 8, I talked about this. I have a whole entire episode dedicated to this, but cycle syncing. There has been research done to support this, and while we do need more robust research, the basis of cycle syncing, so before I go off on this blurb tangent, what is cycle syncing? So research suggests that fluctuating hormone levels such as estrogen, progesterone can influence energy, metabolism, muscle function, and even mood throughout a woman's cycle. So experts stress that while this method may help some people feel more in tune with their bodies, it is essential to remain flexible and prioritize personal experience over strict adherence to cycle syncing principles. It didn't really say what it is, but cycle syncing basically is where there are 4 different phases of your period, and if you would like to learn more about this, I have just done a whole entire 50-minute episode on this called Understanding Your Menstrual Cycle. But during each of the 4 phases, your hormone levels are doing different things. So you are doing different things, exercise, diet, spiritual practice wise, to support your body during these times. I have found it very beneficial doing these things, and I 100% recommend doing this if it is something that piques your interests, while still remaining true to your bio-individuality. So listening to your body, listening to if you have a lot of energy at a certain time period where you are theoretically not supposed to have a lot of energy, maybe during the luteal phase, for example, and you want to do a HIIT workout, go for it. And vice versa. If you are low energy in a part of your cycle where it is supposedly you're supposed to be high energy, just listen to your body and take things one day at a time, especially if it comes to cycle syncing. And while it is a awesome framework, I think it can be a lot more beneficial this way in the long term, especially if you are someone who knows your cycle. You know when it's coming like the back of your hand. You know when you are in each of the different phases. However, if you have an irregular cycle, this might not be the best thing for you. You can speculate what part of your female cycle you are in, but it really does help to know exactly for this method. And I would also say if you are someone who has an irregular cycle who is interested in trying this method, please don't shy away from it. Definitely try it, check it out, and just make sure that you are honoring your body and thinking about energy levels and different things like that as you move along. Okay, number 9, I have had a bone to pick with this one for a little while, and more specifically as a woman. there's definitely evidence to prove that this benefits men on a more consistent basis. But number 9 is ice baths. I know this has been such a huge trend for such a long time. It seems like since the Wim Hof era and that method of meditating in ice bath or very cold environments. Let's just read what the research says. Before you hear my bias, let's just read what the research has to say. So, evidence is mixed. Cold exposure may reduce inflammation and improve mood by lowering cortisol levels and enhancing recovery from stress. It can also temporarily boost insulin sensitivity and athletic performance. Although experts caution while people may feel better after using these techniques, more robust trials are needed to validate the long-term health benefits compared to other practices like yoga or indoor swimming. And then there are also risks associated with this, such as triggering hyperventilation or cardiovascular stress. So proceed with caution, especially if you have any heart conditions. And then if you are someone who already has high cortisol, if you are someone who is already extremely stressed out, while there is eustress is good stress. It's stress that gets put on your body like when you are working out, is a great example of eustress. But if your body is already in overdrive, it's already stuck in that fight or flight sympathetic state, your nervous system stuck in the sympathetic state, I don't know if putting yourself in a cold environment and shocking your body like that when it already is kind of like in this permanently shocked state is the best thing for you, is the best thing for anyone if they are stuck in that state. With PCOS can come high cortisol levels, and for a time period that is primarily what I suspected to be the trigger for my PCOS. I personally do not do ice baths. Evidence is mixed, as we just heard. If it's something that interests you, do your own research, look into it a little bit more. And if you are someone who you're not stuck in fight or flight sympathetic state, I say go for it. Go ahead and get your little buns out there and freeze them off. All for a weird health and wellness trend or life hack. If it works for you, This leads me to the very last point. This is something that I have forever and will forever believe in as more research and evidence scientifically comes out to prove all of these things. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a wonderful person to prove all of these things, who has done remarkable research on this. But the last one kind of is like a big conglomerate of a bunch of different things that basically are all the same thing, but a little bit different. So number 10 is lucky girl syndrome / being Delulu / manifesting, vision boards, and the law of attraction. So all of these are kind of all rolled up into one. And while there is no direct scientific validation for this, simply believing that you are lucky when it comes to lucky girl syndrome, it doesn't guarantee success. I think this practice taps into the known psychological benefits of positive thinking, meditating on envisioning your future, and that gets into like the manifestation and vision board side of it. So the psychological benefits of positive thinking, visualization, and mindfulness, these tools used together can reduce stress, improve emotional well-being. And then it is also a caution. Positive thinking alone, not paired with action, is not a great place to be. So while you are meditating and creating vision boards and, believing that you are lucky, doing things and actions to actually put all of those into motion, positive thinking paired with action is the best way to go about implementing this last trend. Manifestation, vision boards, Delulu, lucky girl syndrome, huge approval from me. I am a big vision board maker. I make one every year. And for the past couple of years, I always set it as my background on my laptop and my phone screen. It's always my lock screen so that I see it every single day. I am thinking about it. It is always there and at the forefront. It's always something that I am seeing. Many things that I have put on my vision board while taking the action behind them have come to fruition. And it is so crazy every time I look back on one of my vision boards, just seeing the amount of things that I may not have even remembered that I put on there, and it came to be. So this one is so powerful, and I hope that there is more scientific evidence and more research done to prove that there is benefits to this. Those are my hot takes on 10 wellness trends of 2024. I'm wondering if I should do like 10 diet trends of 2024 and do my hot takes on those, because I have a lot of thoughts about diets and the different ones. But yeah, let me know if that would be something that you would be interested in. And then to close out, I have a Halloween ritual guided worksheet that will be somewhere in the show notes. It will be in captions. It will be on my website, somewhere for you to access. Halloween is coming up this week, and I just wanted to create a little mini guided ritual worksheet for you to do, just to create a more interactive aspect while I can sit here and do a ritual for you. I think having this be a little bit more interactive is just a little bit more fun. So if you do download the worksheet, I would love to know. And to close out, I want to do just a quick little affirmation. I love doing affirmation draws and doing one at the end to send you off today. Just feels a little bit more right. So no shuffle skills today. We're just going to draw. And your affirmation to send you off is, I am inspiring. I'm inspiring to those around me, even when I don't realize it. When I am welcoming, kind, and giving towards people, it inspires them to respond to me the same way. I am inspiring. And that is all for today's episode. The next episode will air on November 11th. I will be talking about all things PCOS, my personal journey, what I have learned, supplements to help me, exercise habits, everything that has been beneficial to my PCOS journey thus far. So until the next one, I'm your host, Kamela Celeste, signing off.